Hi, welcome to Steve's Garage. I'm Steve. This is my garage. Welcome to part 2 of 3 of my arcade build. As you can see, I've done a little bit of testing or whatever. We'll go through all the details there. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch that. You can see where I came from, what my plans were. This is the intermediate video, kind of show you where I'm at, what parts I've purchased, what trials, tribulations I've gone through. Hopefully in part 3, I'll have the complete build and you can see the final product. Just ignore the green screen over here, using that for a different photography project, which is normally what my videos are all about, photography and whatnot. Doing a little bit of green screen COVID graduation photography. I know it's taken a little bit longer to get to part 2 than I initially anticipated. Main reason right here is this trackball. It took forever to come in through shipping. I think it got shipped from China. And of course with the whole COVID thing going on, shipping and everything has gone a lot slower than it used to be. So it finally came in. So I've finally got all the basic guts of the whole system. We'll go through all the details of what I actually purchased and my thoughts about quality and how it functions, all that sort of stuff. Near the end of the video, I'll show you what my final plans are for the cabinet, and I'll go over my costs so far, and you can see how close I'm coming to my $300 target. Thanks for stopping by. So first thing I had to do with this build is find a PC. That's what everything runs on. So I asked around. I was trying to get a used PC. You don't need top of the line for this kind of arcade emulation. So I asked a bunch of friends, couldn't really find anything. Let's try to use the internet, some crowdsourcing maybe. So I got on Facebook, just posted them a note. Anybody have an old PC they don't need, looking to make an arcade machine? And I was amazed at the response. I got 3, count them 3 donations of old PCs. I'd like to send out special thanks to the 3 people who donated PCs for this build. First, my cousin Sandra.
Technically, I'm Steve's first cousin once removed. Don't want to overstate how related we are.
And Mike, friend from my photo club.
Hey, I'm Steve's buddy from Photo Club.
And of course, my other buddy Mike.
I'm Steve's other buddy Mike.
All 3 of these people had PCs that had just sitting in the closet, not doing anything. Donated them to me. I went and picked them up. Looked at all 3 of them were capable of running this. One was a little bit better than the others. I'm not going to tell you which one it was. Thank you to all 3 of you guys.
You betcha, Steve.
No problem,
Anytime,
Steve.
Not going to go into the details of how to clean up old PCs, remove all the old data, fresh install of Windows 10, how to install MAME and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of videos available and how-tos available on the internet. It's not what this one's all about. Leave it to say, it doesn't take that long. Clean them up, and they're good to go. So right now, I've got the one PC up and running. It's got a fresh copy of Windows 10. I've got MAME installed, and I'm using Launchbox as my front end. Links down below. So the joysticks. After reviewing all the different options, tons of options on the web, I decided to go cheap. These are kind of the cheapest ones I could see. Basically, I got 2 sets of joysticks plus 10 buttons each. I think for about $55. Not exactly the high end. Goes against all the advice in the forums and stuff that I read, but I figure this is my first arcade build. Let's go cheap, see how it works. Later I can always upgrade the joysticks, or I can do a second build with higher end components once I've confirmed, that everything works and it's actually worth doing. So I got the joysticks and the buttons, and as you can see here, I just grabbed a scrap piece of wood from the garage here and did a trial mounting. I'll leave the link to all the components that I've purchased down in the doobly-doo. Most of it's all from Amazon. You can go take a look, buy it for yourself. The spinner. For games like pole position, steering kind of games, or Quicks is another one that uses a spinner like this. This is the arcade spinner built for the Arcade 1-Up arcade boxes. Of course, from Amazon, Amazon.com. I couldn't get this from Amazon.ca, which is where I get normally stuff, being in Canada and all. Link down on the doobly-doo. From the spinner, you also need to get... This is the back of the spinner here. You also need to get the Arcade 1-Up 12-in-1 adapter board, interface board. Basically, that converts the signaling from the spinner into a USB cable that you can plug into your PC. It took me quite a while to get this going. I first plugged it in, and I could see right away that it was moving the mouse inside Windows, but very slowly. It took quite a bit to get it working inside MAME properly. I'm going to do a separate video of the little details I had to do to get this running, because I couldn't find that information anywhere on the web. Hopefully it'll be helpful to someone else. Basically, there's 3 key settings, things you had to do to get this running properly in MAME. Now that it's all up and running, love the knob here, nice smooth motion, works great. Trackball. Finally came in. Took about 2 months after I ordered it until I finally got it in. Took it out of the box. It's kind of cheaply made, just plastic housing, the ball. However, the good news is you plug it in, boom, it works. Didn't have to take any setup or anything. The only extra piece I needed, somewhere in here, here it is, PS2 to USB adapter cable. The trackball comes with a PS2 output, same output that used to be used with old mice on old PCs. But you can just get a cable, PS2 to USB adapter, and boom, plugs into USB, good to go. This is a 3-inch ball. I think with your own trackball, 3 inches is probably the minimum. You can get 2-inch ones, they'd be way too small. I think in general, bigger the better feel to it. And better quality one cost a lot more, but a better quality one will spin a lot longer. This one does a little bit. We'll see in time if I want to replace that or not. Audio. Watch out for that. First of all, speakers. Who doesn't have an old set of speakers in their house, huh? I always do. Typically on stereos, it's the electronics that die long before the speakers do, so I always hold on to the speakers because you never know when you might want to build something, maybe sound effects for a Halloween display or an arcade machine. So these are some old speakers I had from an old stereo. I'll probably rip out the drivers, mount them in the top panel, and away we go. Amplifier to amplify the sound. Again, went cheap, Amazon, I think 25 bucks, 20 watts, that's all you need. All right, before we get in the computer, to show you a couple things. Basically, this is all the guts of the arcade machine. Of course, speakers, amplifier, joysticks, trackball, USB hub. And on the other end of the USB hub is a USB extender to make connections a bit easier. Run Windows 10, run main. Launch the game you want to play. Add some coins. And start playing. All right, here's my latest design. Showed a basic model of this in the previous video, but this time I've redrawn it myself in SolidWorks. Got a little bit of help from my buddy Dale.
Yeah, I'm Steve's buddy Dale. Glad to help, Steve.
Let's see here. Overall height is about 72 inches, 6 feet tall. It's about 30 inches wide, 20 inches deep. I've tried to reduce the depth here so it would fit a little bit closer against the wall. I might even reduce it a bit more. Right now it's about 20 inches. Only really needs to be deep enough to support the PC in the bottom and the monitor up here. Other than that, you don't need a lot of depth. Main thing I wanted to model was getting this controller layout, try to get the spacing and whatnot. That's where I got the basic dimensions to do my trial one on the scrap wood. Turns out I ended up making this a little bit narrower. The scrap wood one is more 36 inches wide. I've reduced it down to 30. I think there should be plenty of space there. So designing your own cabinet, there's all kinds of information online. It's kind of overwhelming how much information. There's a really good site for controller layout and button spacings. Take a look, lots of dimensions. Again, a little bit overwhelming, but I took some of their suggestions to use it to apply to mine, and it seems to have turned out fairly well. Here's a quick review of the costs that I've incurred so far. Just run down the list here. 2-person joystick and button set, 56 bucks, pretty good deal. You could spend a lot more money on this if you wanted to, but like I said earlier, I went for the cheap side. Amplifier, trackball, again, fairly inexpensive. The PS2 to USB adapter required for the trackball. The spinner and the 12-in-1 board, that one added up to quite a bit. Quite a big chunk of the expense here. But it is high quality, so I think it'll last a long time. Extension cable, USB hub, of course the PC, computer, the keyboard and the mouse donated, so that's free. Speakers, old speakers I had from an old stereo. I have purchased a couple big pieces of MDF board that I'm going to make the cabinet with. Still a few things I need to pay for. Paint, plexiglass, I want to put that on top of the control surface. And screws and glue, some miscellaneous items. So far, the total is $332. Not quite under my $300 target, but you could build this cabinet minus the spinner, minus the trackball for under $300 so far. But I really wanted to have the extra options for those extra games, so I went for the extra cost. Convert this to US dollars, and we're still under $300. So it depends how you want to take my $300 target. we decide to take off trackball and spinner. Still, we're under $200. So I think if you just did a basic arcade box with the PC and whatnot, you could do it under $300. Again, I'm using cheap components. We'll see how long they last, how good they are. This is all to be determined. All right, that's about it for now. That's all I got going. Here it is, a couple big pieces of MDF board. All that's left now is to start drawing, cutting, and assembling the whole cabinet, painting it, finishing touches, that sort of thing. Make sure you subscribe and you'll get notifications when I finally finish this project. And in my third video, I'll show the final thing, any of the pros and cons of what I've done. All the information down the doobly-doo. Leave me some questions if you have any. I'd be happy to discuss what I've done, or if you have any advice for me, that would be fantastic as well. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.